YouTube, Chronomaly is here, and yes, I think it has a shot at being top tier. Now, if you don't know, Chronomaly used to have an old skill called Gateway to Another Dimension, but that doesn't do as much as a skill. It didn't search, and it also locked you in summoning from the extra deck into Chronomalies. This does it. You can summon anything from the extra deck now, and you can also play hand traps in this variant, which makes this deck a lot better going second. And there's other things that make this deck really well going second. You're going to see in the replays as well what we were able to do. Okay, so Chronomaly. Let's go over the deck, and I will tell you exactly what you're going to be doing. So first, in order to know what you're doing, we're going to go over the skill. So Hope-Filled Chronomaly has 3 different effects. You can only use, well, really 2 different effects. The one's a condition. The second effect you can only use once per duel. So you can only normal special summon Chronomalies except special summons from the extra. Second effect, send 1 non-level 4 Chronomaly, so any non-level 4. So you can't send Neverdisk, you can't send Magella Globe. If you're playing Tusparok, you can't send that. From hand to graveyard, then add 1 non-level 4 Chronomaly from deck to hand, and add 4 monsters from outside your deck to your extra deck. So this is really, really broken because you could stick 4 monsters in the extra deck. So you can add Atlantis, Utopia, Machu Mech, and Huyuk right to the extra. Then, third effect, send 1 level 3 to 6 number monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. The level of each monster in your field become equal to the rank of the monster sent. So for example, if you send Utopia or Huyuk, they're going to be a 4, Machu Mech, they'll be a 5, and if you send Atlantis, they'll be a 6. Now what's really, really good is, first of all, much like the TG skill, this just adds a bunch of Chronomalies to the extra deck. So that makes it a lot easier to diversify as far as playing the Exceeds. Now some of these are not optimal yet. I'm still working on what I would take out. For example, Pleiades really didn't come out. You could add in another 6. You can add in like M7 if you wanted to, and then make that going second. But let's go over the Chronomaly starters now, and then we'll go over the extra deck more. Alright, so Chronomaly Neverdisk. So Neverdisk is your best starter. This card is very, very good. It has multiple different effects that can help you generate follow-up as well. So let me move this over a bit. Just a little bit off the screen. Oop, not that. Give me 1 sec, guys. And then I'm going to drag this a bit for you. That's a bit better. Okay. So Neverdisk, and let me kill the rank. Okay. So Neverdisk is, on summon, it gets to add any Chronomaly card in our deck to hand. Now note this says card, so you can search the brand new trap, Chronomaly Esperanza Glyph. So this is the card you want to be searching with your Neverdisk. You can search this. You could search Technology, you could search a Combo Figures, or any Chronomaly card. So it could be a monster, your spell, or your trap. So that's really, really good. Now it has a graveyard effect that if you have not used the effect of Neverdisk this turn, the first effect, you can revive this from your graveyard, but it locks you into Chronomaly monsters. But it's still really good because the skill can modulate the 5 and you can make Vimana, which is really, really good. So, yeah. Neverdisk is definitely your best starter, so you can only use 1 of its effects per turn, so if you search, you can't summon from the grave, and if you summon from the grave, you can't search, but it's still really, really good for recursion, and the best starter in your deck. Next to that, we have Chronomaly Acombro Figures. Now, this card is really, really good, because this is also a 1-card starter into Neverdisk, because of your skill. So with Acombro Figures, it has multiple different effects. First, while in the graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points to summon it, but locks you in the Chronomalies. Second effect, if this card is in your hand and your Chronomaly monster would be destroyed, you can discard this card instead. So, already, if they threaten your Vimana with destruction, just discard this card, protect it. And while in your graveyard, you could summon it. And remember, because it's a level 5, we could send that to the graveyard with the skill from the hand, discard it, and add a level 3 to 5 Chronomaly from deck to hand. So you could discard this, search your Crystal Skull, and now a lot of people who are whales said, how many of this do I need? You could totally get away with 1 of them, that's fine. We'll go over that in a second. But you're going to summon this, send your Crystal Skull, search your Neverdisk, and then you can go into combo. Now, on top of that, we're running Chronomaly Crystal Bones. This card is insane going second, because if your opponent controls the monster and you don't, it's like Cyber Dragon, it summons itself. But what's really good about this is then you can summon a monster from your graveyard. So you could special this out of the hand like a Burning Abyss almost, and then summon a monster from your graveyard for free without even committing your normal summon. So very, very good. Immediately threatens board presence, and your opponent has to do something about it before you even can, threaten your main line of plays. So this is really good if you can get Crystal Skull in the graveyard as well as this. And for that, you can definitely get away with one skull. I might try to, for that pure reason. This being able to do that is really, really effective. So getting that in the graveyard, and you're going to threaten something called Gargonic Guardian, which I'll tell you in a second, before even activating your normal skill to make your plays. Now, on top of that, you also have Chronomaly Magella Globe. So this card is a level 40 trade reward. You can get this for free. You tribute this, summon any Chronomaly out of the deck. It discards in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there. You can banish one Chronomaly card in your graveyard, add this to your hand. So this is very, very good follow-up as well. Then, on top of that, we're playing 2 copies of Chronomaly Moai, which just basically, if you control Chronomaly, special summon, it's level 5. And then, for the text, we're running 6 Hand Traps, 3 Veiler, 3 Skullmeister. This is very good to stop your opponent's plays. Good to draw into off your technology, and so on and so forth. And then, Barrage Blast allows us to detach any amount of materials from Machine Exceeds and destroy that many cards on the field, target that many cards and destroy them. A lot of the times, you're going to have 3 materials on V-Mana, and you're going to be able to pop 3, or at least pop 2, almost like you would with a Sun Saga play in Shiranui. So doing this is very, very effective. Also, the new trap, I didn't go over this, Esperanza Glyph. During the main phase, you can target 1 Exceed monster card you control in your graveyard, special summon 2 Chronomaly monsters that are 1 level higher or from your rank and deck or graveyard, but negate their effects that immediately exceed a Chronomaly monster. Now, if that's confusing to you, basically, let's say turn 1 we open up Never Disc, right, and the trap. Let's just say you open Never in the trap, right? Okay, so a play you can do is you can go Never Disc, search your Moai, and then change your Moai to level 4 after you use the skill. But you would go Never search a Crombo, then search Moai. So you skill first, then search the Moai. Then we could change Moai to a 4. And then we can make something like an Abyss Dweller, which is really good against certain decks going turn 1. So if you feel your opponent loses to Abyss Dweller, so you go up against something like Unchained, or something like maybe even Rocket that you want to make Dweller against, you can do that. And then, after you make the Abyss Dweller, then, during your opponent's main phase, you can activate Esperanza Glyph, target the Utopia that you sent to make them level 4, or the Chateau Hayek, and then immediately exceed into your Chronomaly V-Mana. And then, you have a negate on the field, you have a Dweller lock out of the grave, plus whatever text you want. Now, as you know, you don't see any limit 3s in this deck. And the reason why is because I feel like they struggle a bit going second, like Crackdown's a bit slow. You could absolutely play Crackdown in this deck if you want to. I just didn't feel it was worth it for me going second, and yada yada yada. Now, we also play one more tech, and that's Chronomaly. It's not a tech, but Chronomaly technology. Basically, you target one Chronomaly in your monster, in your graveyard, banish it, and then reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, and then add 1 to your hand and send 1 to the graveyard. And you can only activate 1 per turn, but that's all you're going to be doing. Now, the extra deck, we have 1 Constellar Pleiades. This basically 2 level 5s, which you can modulate it to. You don't have to play this. I didn't think it was that worth it, so I'd probably take it out. During either player's turn, detach a card, bounce 1 back to the hand. Monster Day control back to the hand. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller to shut down the graveyard effects. Very, very good to play now in this meta. 2 copies of Chronomaly V-Mana. So if you don't know what this does, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster in the field, and 1 face-up monster in the field, 1 Exceed monster or Chronomaly in your graveyard. That monster in the field gains half the attack of the Exceed or Chronomaly you targeted until the end of this turn, and attach that monster from the graveyard to this card as material. And then once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, detach 2 materials like this, negate that effect. Now, what's very important about V-Mana is this can negate from anywhere. So if your opponent activates Spectral Sword in the graveyard, you can negate it. If your opponent activates Damage Juggler in the grave, you can negate it. If they activate, and this can negate in the damage step, so this is very important. This because this negates the activation, you can negate in the damage step. So if they activate something in the damage step, like a Kite Rod, you can negate that. Okay, so that's very, very important. So really, really good. This can boost up over 3,000 attack with its effect, and get really, really big, and also have protection for your combo if you need to. And it's very possible that turn 1 you can even summon 2 of these. So you can get 2 negates on the field, which is very, very, can be very difficult for your opponent to deal with depending on the situation. Now, also, yeah, so that's that. We're playing Utopia the Lightning. So basically, you can power over any of your opponent's monsters. Just make the Utopia, that's for free in your extra. So you could send like Chateau Hoyak, and then make Utopia, and then overlay in Utopia the Lightning. That sits on Knight for going second. This card can come up against certain decks, but it's really easy to make. Hoyak, because we can reduce them to 0, and then use Hoyak's effect and swing over things. So if you don't know what Hoyak does, once per turn during either player's turn, you detach 1 material, target 1 monster your opponent controls, reduce its attack to 0, and then also it has the effect, you contribute 1 Chronomaly monster, target 1 monster is different than his original attacks are different than its current attack. That's not a quick effect. Destroy that target. You can even target face down, so if they book you, you can do that. And then last, we're playing Organic Guardian. This takes 2 level 3 rocks, which your skull and your bones are. This is great to threaten out if you're going second immediately. Quick effect, you detach 1 XE material from this monster, make its attack 0, and then negate its effect. So it's a quick effect. This threatens a monster to negate immediately before you even go into your main line of play. So this is really good. And then once per turn, you can target 1 monster in the field with 0 attack, destroy it. Okay, so let's get to the replays. Remember, guys, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. There is gonna be a cog run coming with this, so if you want to see it, make sure you like, comment, and sub. Anyway, here we go.
I built the overlay network. Summon. Here comes Chronomaly V-Mana. V-Mana targets a monster. I end my turn.
I drop from my hand. I activate. You're not. I activate my monster's effect.
Now's my chance. My monster's effect activates.
Check this out. I activate.
That won't work. I activate Chronomaly V-Mana's effect.
I set it.
By using 2, V-Mana targets a monster on the field and in the graveyard. The first gains attack points, and the other becomes an overlay unit.
I'll end my turn.
I trump up. Let's battle. Attack. Chronomaly V-Mana targets a monster on the field and in the graveyard.
Look at our
When
word
to give
splash.
up.
Come here.
I end my
I
turn.
activate.
That won't work. I activate Chronomaly V-Mana's effect.
I
Using 2
activate my
overlay.
monster's
I don't
effect.
think so. My monster's effect active. I'll show.
This is the
Duel! I'll show you. Chronomaly, you're that ends my turn.
This is the Come out! I activate all right.
I activate Chronom. I exceed summon a monster. Here comes.
all right. I synchro summon a monster.
I knew you'd try that!
I activate my
I
monster.
that won't work! I activate Chronomaly V-Mana's effect! V-Mana targets a monster on the
I end my turn.
Duel! I'm going. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. I see some of them. Ready or not? Chronomaly, crystal, the here goes. I exceed some of the monster. My monster's effect activates. Chronomaly whenever a disc is summoned, I can activate its effect. Over my I add a Chronomaly card in my deck. My monster's effect. How's this? That ends my turn. I draw my monster's effect activate. Come on out. My monster's effect activate. That won't work against me. My monster's effect activates. Show them what you can do. I activate my Chronomaly. I exceed summon a monster. Here's number. That won't work against me. Duel! From my hand, I activate a continuous spell. Now is your turn. I activate. All right. Appear. I link summon them. I activate. Now is your turn. Come here. Link summon. I activate. Appear. I activate one. I am left. All right. Link summon. I am ready or not. Up. You're over. Chronomaly Crystal Ball! Now, this is the card I sent. I act a combo of Chronomaly not so bad. All that sounds will not. I activate Crystal Skull's effect from my hand. Not so bad. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect. Chronomaly never did. Whenever disc is summoned, I can activate its effect. I know what to do. Here's Chronomaly Moa. Here's Chronomaly Moa. I exceed summon a monster. Here comes. V-Mana targets a monster on the beat. Attack, Crystal Ball. Attack. I end my turn. All right. I activate. That won't work. I activate Chronomaly V-Mana's effect. V-Mana targets a monster on the field. Ready or not, I end. Chronomaly, I activate a Chronomaly, a combo of I built the overlay network. Here's no. I use one over that. V-Mana targets a monster on the field. Attack! Chronomaly set. Nothing to protect you. start card. Join me at the tuner.
I synchros. Earthbound geoglyph lets me add a card to my hand. Earthbound. Come. Greater Linewalker adds an Earthbound Immortal to my hand.
Ready or not, I
end my turn.
Chronomaly, Crystal Ball, here's Chronomaly, I exceed summon a monster. Here comes Chronomaly. Whenever disc is summoned, I can activate its effect. I activate Crystal Skull's effect from my. Here's Chronomaly. I exceed summon a monster. Here comes. V-Mana targets a monster on the field and in the town. V-Mana targets a monster on the field and in the. That ends my turn.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed those replays. Now I'm going to show you something quickly at the gate before we end the video. So we're only 21 minutes in, so let me show you a quick combo at the gate, so that way you guys, you know, can get a rundown on what you're doing as far as the deck is concerned. We're just gonna do my here at the gate. Don't worry about it. Gonna show you a little bit of a quick combo you guys can do before we jump out. Alright. So here you go. Turn 1. Okay, we opened up our combo figures. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate our skill. We're gonna send our combo to the graveyard. We're gonna add our Crystal Skull. So at this point, if you don't open Never Disc, you want to search Skull immediately. Keep in mind, once we use a combo figures, well, not even that, but if we use the combo figures this turn, we're locked into Chronomalies the rest of the turn. But that's okay. With the current and we add with Moai in it, we can still make double V-Mana. So we're going to activate a combo figures, combo figures, summoned. We're going to activate Crystal Skull's effect. We're going to search Nebra. Nebra Disc can search us any Chronomaly card.
I add a Chronomaly card in my deck to my hand.
Well, not double V-Mana. I shouldn't say double V-Mana. We can't make double V-Mana here, but we can make yeah, we can't make double V-Mana, but we can make like Hayuk plus, how should I say it? We can make like a Hayuk plus V-Mana if we wanted to. Yeah, we can make like Hayuk plus V-Mana with that alone. Without even the second Moai being in hand. So we can do that. Or we can make V-Mana with protection in hand. Well, we'll still have the protection regardless, actually, now that I think about it. So what we could do here is we could search Esperanza Glyph. And we could skill. Send a level 4. And then we can make Hoyuk, and then next turn we can summon out V-Mana.
I exceed summon a monster. Here's number.
And that's off one of combo figures by itself.
That ends my turn.
Draw. I hope you're ready. I summon a monster in attack position.
And then we'd activate our Esperanza Glyph.
Chronomaly Esperanza Glyph.
Summon out
Summon 2 Chronomaly monsters.
2 Chronomalies.
To exceed summon. Chronomaly a combo figure. Here's Chronomaly.
And then we make our V-Mana. So that's off of one combo figures by itself. We end up on that setup. Just by itself.
It's I draw.
And then we can, of course, follow up. If we opened up Never Disc, we'd be able to make double.
If you don't do something, you're gonna lose.
I
end my turn. You must think little
My
of
turn
me.
is
You
over.
I
Make
draw.
your move.
Battle. You have nothing to protect you.
Or if you drew like a second copy of Moai, then you can make double V mana on that hand. So if you ran 3 Moai, then you could do that a little bit more consistently. If you wanted to, but yeah. Okay. We will stop there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, sub. Yeah. Also, be streaming tonight about 7:30, 8 p.m. EST. If you want to be there, make sure you're there. We're going to be trying out some super quants tonight. So make sure you're there so we can test this out. And yeah. Until next time, it's your boy Sean Matrai signing out. Peace. Bye, YouTube.